Number 5. Mauricio Shogun Rua's UFC debut was unsuccessful against Forrest Griffin, but he won his next two bouts against Chuck Liddell and Mark Coleman and challenged then UFC Light Heavyweight Champion Lyoto Machida at UFC 104. He lost the bout by a controversial unanimous decision. An immediate rematch was booked for UFC 113 and he won the fight by knockout and became the UFC Light Heavyweight Champion. He then lost his title to Jon Jones in his first title defense by TKO at UFC 128. Unfortunately, since losing the belt, his career has gone downhill and is nowhere near title contention. He is 5-5 in his last 10 fights. Number 4. Forrest Griffin defeated Mauricio Shogun Rua at UFC 76, which earned him a title shot against then champion Quinton Rampage Jackson. He won the fight by a unanimous decision at UFC 186 and became the UFC Light Heavyweight Champion. He then lost his title to Rashad Evans in his first title defense by TKO. After losing the belt, he was 3-3 in his last 6 fights and eventually retired from the sport due to injuries. Number 3. Serra got the chance to fight for the UFC welterweight title at UFC 69 after winning the Ultimate Fighter, The Comeback. Nobody thought that Serra had a chance against George St Pierre. In the fight, Serra knocked out George St Pierre in the first round of their title fight, which may have been the biggest upset in UFC history. Serra lost his title in the rematch to George St Pierre by TKO at UFC 83 and then lost to Matt Hughes and Chris Lyoto. His biggest victory after the shocking upset of George St Pierre was a win over Frank Trigg, where he won by knockout at UFC 109. Number 2. After falling short to his title fight against George St Pierre at UFC 167, George St Pierre walked away from the sport and vacated the UFC welterweight title. He was given the opportunity to fight for the vacant title against Robbie Lawler at UFC 171 and won the fight by a unanimous decision and became the UFC welterweight champion. Johnny Hendricks lost his title in the rematch to Robbie Lawler by a split decision at UFC 181 and then lost to Stephen Thompson and Kelvin Gastelum. His biggest victory after losing the title was a decision win over Matt Brown at UFC 185. Number 1. Holm shocked the world when she knocked out the dominant champion Ronda Rousey for the UFC Women's Bantamweight title at UFC 193. After a quick turnaround, she defended her title against top contender Miesha Tate and was choked unconscious in the 5th round, and recently faced world-class striker Valentina Shevchenko and was outclassed in all of the 5 rounds. With the age of 34 and on a 2-fight losing streak, she cannot afford to lose another fight, as it will be impossible for her to find her confidence again and may move her far away from title contention. But a win will definitely turn things around for the former champ.